We are live, ladies and gentlemen. I am hyped. Hopefully you guys are too. It's the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Dirt Bristol race, and I have the live commentary for you guys throughout the course of this, as we'll do a reaction, obviously, along with the live commentary throughout both dirt races today at Bristol. The Truck Series, of course, coming up here in a few minutes, as the trucks are already rolling out onto the racetrack for their pace laps, and then the Cup Series will follow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, and we'll cover both races. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't believe they're already on the track right now, just as Fox is going on the air. So we don't have much time before the drop of the green flag for the Truck Series, but we are here. I'm ready for these two races indeed. Trevor Grimes, hopefully you're having a good time at the racetrack. I know you're going to be there. So Trevor Grimes, Connor Murray, Ashton G, Diamond Jeff. Who else was in the chat before we started? That's it for right now. Thanks for everybody tuning to the stream, as well as the other of you folks are going as well. It looks like a bright sunny day at the racetrack. A cooler afternoon, temperatures in the highs of right around 60 degrees, maybe a little over 60 degrees. I'm not sure exactly how many fans they were supposed to have in attendance, but it actually does look like a decent amount of people did stay there for the week. I would imagine it was probably going to be about 30,000 people there, just like it was for the races last year. Looks like Vince Welch, Michael Waltrip, and Joey Logano will be in the booth for the truck race today, but you guys won't be able to hear that or see anything on the screen. Oni Lassiter, welcome as well. 11 people watching. We're going to have fun here today, talking everything dirt. And I think the good thing about doing Dirt Bristol, and the reason why I wanted to do the live commentary for both races this weekend instead of just one or the other like we have outside of Speed Weeks this year, that I have for every other race this year. The only reason I'm doing both races simply is because they're racing on dirt. For those of you guys that don't know, I grew up racing on dirt, obviously never professionally, but I started racing quarter midgets at a young age. Age of 6, I started testing and stuff. Started racing competitively at the age of 8. Actually won my first ever race that I ever ran, Sandusky Speedway, quarter midget dirt track. So from that point, I knew I was going to have fun. Was constantly racing on dirt up until the age of 19 in go-karts competitively. And unfortunately, it came to a bad end of things. But we are here today with the channel. I definitely reminisce on those days for sure. Derek Brandy, welcome to the stream. Let's see the race. I can't actually put the race on the YouTube channel, even if it was small and in the corner. I can't put it on there. I will get copyrighted, and this stream will get taken down. So I will be doing the realistic broadcast along the way. If there is a slight delay, it is because of YouTube. There's like a 30-second delay from what I'm saying and what you guys are going to hear. So it might be a lap behind, knowing that Bristol, the Truck Series and the Cup Series have been having about 20-second lap times with their fastest trucks. Stage lengths today for the truck race are going to be 40 laps, 50 laps in Stage 2, and 60 laps in the final stage. That is the same with Eldora in the Dirt Derby over the last few, really since the inception of the Eldora truck race. Sheriff Tony, welcome to the stream as well. But yes, thanks for everybody tuning in here today. We're going to have some fun. Again, if you're able to watch the race, it is on Fox Sports 1. If this is your only output for knowing what's going on during the course of the race, again, we will have some fun here. JM324, welcome to the stream. Can you put it up with no sound? No, again, I will get copyright for it. Even if I went down in the description of my own video and put credit to Fox and Fox Sports and stuff like that, it will get taken down within seconds. I guarantee you. I've seen other stuff with other sports in general that people try to live stream it to get the views and get it out there to the general public, and within for instance, if it was a football game, within 2 minutes of the game they would take it down. So we probably only get maybe 10 to 20 laps in and they would take it down. So I'm not going to put my channel at risk of that. So yeah, the race is on FS1. Again, I like to do this in an avenue that if you guys can't watch the race, you have me here to demonstrate and commentate what's going on. It's kind of like a radio style broadcast where I'm going to try to paint the picture for you guys as we usually do, and one Fox goes to a commercial break. Obviously, I can't commentate that point. That's when I'm going to look at the chat more often than not. But, yeah, picks for everybody today. Comment down below your picks on today's race at Dirt Bristol. My original pick was going to be Ryan Newman. Unfortunately, he did not make the show, so I had to change my pick. And I'm going to go with Stuart Friesen. I think Friesen's going to win the truck race today. He won the last truck race at Eldora 2 years ago. Again, they did not race there due to COVID last season, but in 2019 they did. And actually, the pace truck is off pit road, and the green flag is in the air. We're racing on dirt at Bristol. Austin Hill on the pole quickly jumps down to the bottom, 3 wide throughout the field. Friesen, our pick, or my pick at least, to win today's race, stuck in that middle lane. Matt Crafton getting a run to the outside. Going into turns 1 and 2, Austin Hill did lead lap 1. Sheldon Creed to the inside. They're 3 wide for the lead off turn 2. And still 3 wide. By the time they get into the middle, Crafton trying to work that outer lane near the wall. Boy, Sheldon Creed used up a lot of the 16 truck. Never actually made contact with him, but really squeezed underneath him to the bottom. And Sheldon Creed will take the lead on lap 3. Creed, Hill, Crafton, Nemechek, and Enfinger, the top 5, just 3 laps into this race. Haley Deegan's already starting to move forward inside the top 20, slicing and dicing through the field. Matt Crafton settles himself in second place. Crafton, another former winner of the Eldora dirt truck race. A lot of brakes being applied, especially mid-pack right now in bumper-to-bumper traffic right now. You can hear the brakes screeching on some of the in-truck cameras, the in-truck views that Fox is showing. Sheldon Creed's opened it up to about a 0.6 of a second lead on Matt Crafton. Stuart Friesen's worked his way up to 4th place, starting in the back half of the top 10. Now passes Austin Hill for 3rd off of turn 4. And quickly to the back bumper of Matt Crafton. Friesen almost gets into the wall. He got really loose there. Slid back down the track, really crowded the 16. As Hill backs out of the gas, now that makes Grant Enfinger, who is a runner-up finisher in the 2018 Eldora race for the Truck Series. Friesen easily gets to the inside of Matt Crafton. Crafton continuously trying to work the outside lane, but it looks like at least early in this race, that lane, the preferred lane, is right around the bottom. Austin Hill gets back around Crafton, Enfinger to the inside to Crafton. Crafton was in second place a lap and a half ago, and now he's falling back to 4th, nearly 5th. Enfinger gets really loose trying to drive it in deep, almost makes contact with Crafton's left rear, and John Hunter Nemechek could not quite take the advantage down to the inside. Lap number 8 as Fox goes to a commercial. Friesen is hauling through the field as he is all over the back bumper of Sheldon Creed for the lead. Again, Fox going to a commercial break. I would not be surprised if Friesen ends up with the lead by the time they come back from the break. Pick is Kyle Larson for both races. V2 Motorsports, welcome to the stream. Thank you, Keegan. Yes, again, doing the live commentary here throughout so you guys know what's going on. That is exactly what I am here to do. Again, yes, I cannot show the race, and people might be upset that I can't show the race. This is not copyright. This is the live commentary. I do my best. Of course, the reason I started the channel was I want to live my dream of being a broadcaster in the sport of NASCAR. So not only doing these with NASCAR video game full race live streams that we do every day, but now once a week at least during the race weekend, we will be here on the channel. At least until I start traveling to more races throughout the course of the year. I have not been to one yet. First race I plan on going to in person is Talladega, so that'll be the first week we're not going to be doing any one of the top 3 series in NASCAR for a live commentary that week, because I will be gone for both the Xfinity and the Cup race. But some of these tracks I'm only going for the Cup race too, so there's a good chance that like the day I leave or something, or the day before I leave, I can do like a truck or Xfinity race. Oni Laster, welcome to the stream. Is Cup today? Yes, Cup Series races at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Rod G, welcome to the stream. How are the track conditions? You can definitely tell it's a little bit damper out on the racetrack, but nowhere near as muddy as what it was when they tried to run that one lap of the heat races a couple days ago. If you guys might have saw, they had to red flag the heat race after one lap due to everybody back in traffic having mud all the way across the not the dash, the grill, which could have caused overheating, and then also obviously the windshield. They couldn't see anything there. But yeah, track conditions look really good. It's not dusty like you would usually see in the daytime because of how damp it is now. As they run more and more laps throughout the course of the race, the dust will start to build up. And I think by the time the Cup Series ends up racing today, I think the track conditions are going to be a lot more drier than what they are in the Truck Series here. So for the Truck Series race, I actually think the track conditions are going to be better than the Cup race. That's the problem with day racing and dirt, though. Any dirt race I have been to has been a night race, but the heat races are generally in the daylight hours, about 6 to 7 o'clock, especially in the summertime. It doesn't get dark until 9:30 or so, if not a little bit later. Off-grid, welcome to the stream. So it looks like, yeah, caution's out for the first time today. The 15 of Tanner Gray goes around under the caution. There's a little bit of damage to the front of his race truck, right around where the splitter would usually be. Of course, these trucks are sitting higher off the ground due to this dirt racing. Don't want to damage the splitter, but he did damage it. There are some white, what they were calling dirtles on the inside, I guess, but in the real race world, they're called turtles. They're basically curbing, but they're spots of curbing. In this instance, they're square. They're on the apron of the racetrack, so they don't actually drive down too low and out of the groove, so they're not dive bombing and absolutely cutting the corner. So with those being down there and Tanner Gray spinning, the damage was likely caused by him running over one of those turtles. We saw in the Cup Series practices a couple days ago that Ty Dillon damaged his number 96 Gaunt Brothers Toyota, due to just simply cutting the corner too deep and damaging the left rear, tearing that up right there. So yes, Tanner Gray has spun. That is the first caution of the race. Unaware of what lap we're on right now, according to Fox. It looks like there was contact further back in the pack as well, trying to miss Tanner Gray. Everybody checking up. Chase Briscoe got ran into from behind from the 18 truck, which that is Chandler Smith for Kyle Busch Motorsports. But Creed is still in the lead. Not sure exactly what lap the caution came out exactly, but Creed has led 14 of the first 16 laps of the race. Stuart Friesen still in second. Also to note, there are no live pit stops. I've watched 3 times more dirt races. I grew up racing on dirt. I'm 21 years old, so do I have the experience of commentating for, dirt in the 80s, 90s? No. But I can remember from as far back, at least into the early to mid 2000s. Yeah, I grew up, so I live in Northwest Ohio, and it's a big dirt racing area, at least. I'm not going to go as far as to say in the country, but obviously Rossburg, Ohio, where Eldora Speedway is about 2 hours south of me. I've only been there once, and that was for the truck race a couple years ago. Definitely got to go for the Kings Royal at some point in time for the World of Outlaws, but I've seen World of Outlaw events at Attica Raceway Park for the Brad Doty Classic. That's usually held the week of the Kings Royal, a couple days before, and then also at Fremont Speedway. I've seen a couple there as well. That's my local dirt track that I grew up watching a lot of local races, and then a couple World of Outlaw races there as well. Green flag is now back in the air. Sheldon Creed elects the inside lane on the restart, slides up in front of Friesen on the outside down the backstretch, and works their way into turns 1 and 2. Creed is not a former winner in an Eldora truck race, but grew up racing off-road trucks. So I'm sure that has to, in some ways, much like Hailie Deegan, have an effect of how they're going to run today. It can't hurt to have that experience. But Stuart Friesen, with actual dirt oval racing experience, running in second place right behind him. Crafton's not dropping back too far from him right now. You can tell it looks like Stuart Friesen's a little bit faster. He's trying to work that middle to upper groove on the racetrack. Again, the preferred lane is right around the bottom right now, but as we get more laps, more rubber built up on the racetrack, and the dirt starts to move around in the center of the corners, they will be riding the cushion likely later in this race, and I bet by the Cup race later today especially, that line's going to be right around the top when things are definitely slicker than what they are right now. There's a lot more grip. Now, they are going to water the track during the stage breaks in the Cup race. I don't know if they're going to do that for the truck race or not, with the race being shorter in general. Again, stage 1 is only 40 laps. No live pit stops. I would imagine they might still water it. I don't know how much of a break they're giving them during their pit stops that they're having under caution. There is no position changes during that as well. It's like listening to the radio. Keep up the great work. Thanks, man. Yep, that's the idea. Trying to keep you guys informed of what's going on, especially being on a Monday. I'm sure not everybody is available to watch this. Just halfway through stage 1, 18 laps to go in the first stage. Again, Sheldon Creed still out in the lead right now. The top 6 are really bunched together. Martin Truex Jr. has worked his way into the top 5. He's the highest running Cup Series regular in the field in that 51 truck. Side by side in front of him, though, with Matt Crafton and Austin Hill. Really nowhere to go right now. Now, looking to push the issue. Truex looking for extra lap times. He, obviously, being a Cup Series regular, he's got another race, and a more important race for his sake later today. Kyle Larson's really starting to work that high lane right now. I don't know if that was intentional or not. It looked like he got a little too loose a couple laps ago. They're showing a replay of that. A lot of these Cup Series regulars don't have very good starting positions with the random draw that they had for both the trucks in the Cup Series due to the heat races not being ran a couple days ago due to rain. Those were supposed to be on Saturday for both series, as well as the truck race originally was supposed to be Saturday night under the lights. Country RDNK, welcome to the stream. You're doing a great job. Sucks being at work, can't catch it. Yeah, I feel you there. I'm glad that for my place, my weekends are Sunday, Monday. And it looks like Carson Hocevar in the 42 truck has gone around. Caution's out with 14 laps to go in stage 1. It looks like he's overheating, too. There's some water spewing out of the right front of the race truck. Might be a lot of mud, I'm sure, and dirt caked into the grill. That was one thing I was noticing in practice. It seemed like if there was too much dirt and dust on the grill, it was definitely starting to overheat. You're not going to have that problem as much when it is dusty, but I would imagine when it's muddier like this with a little bit wetter conditions that it's going to get caked up a lot more than with it just being dust and dirt. But I'm sure even with dust, it can still get caked into the grill and the radiator, and obviously not good on these engines that are not used to racing on dirt. It's very different from, say, a late model, which has got a more compact, but it's got a roll cage essentially. Well, okay, I guess dirt cars have a roll cage, but they're more open than, say, like a late model is. Sheldon Creed is still currently in the lead, indeed, and we got 31 people watching. Again, thanks for everybody tuning in. Our stream record is 39 people watching. I wasn't sure if we were going to break that or not today, but if you are at work, if you are listening from school, pay attention if you're in school, by the way. But if you are listening, maybe you're in study hall or not, thanks for joining here today. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Again, we do these every week. It varies between the Cup, Xfinity, and Truck Series, but we usually try to do one of these races a week. Today, we are going double down. We're doing both the dirt race here at the dirt race at Bristol for the Truck Series, and then the Cup Series later today. Again, that starts at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Kyle Bushband 18, welcome to the stream. Nice Ryan Blaney banner. I approve. Must have been happy last week. Yes, I screamed at the top. Well, not the top of my lungs, but I yelled when he was catching Larson. I was like, come on, catch him, catch him. I was definitely a full fan there. I tried to keep my bias out of it with the live commentary, but if Blaney ends up winning today's race, don't be surprised if I call it right down the middle, and then as soon as that checker flag flies, you'll probably hear me yell. But I expect him to run well. And I guess I can tell my story. I know I get asked a lot why I am a Ryan Blaney fan. Again, it's because I simply grew up watching actually his uncle race in Northwest Ohio. He is a track champion at both Attica Raceway Park and Fremont Speedway, the two localist dirt tracks to me, both within 50 minutes. He was a very good dirt racer, never to the levels of his brother Dave Blaney, who is Ryan Blaney's father. Dave is a former World of Outlaw Series champion. Dale does have World of Outlaw Series wins. He would always run the World of Outlaw races that were locally, and he would also travel out to Knoxville for the Nationals a lot. The Kings Royal obviously was a big one. Granted, that was in Ohio. It was always nice to see those regulars when the World of Outlaws came to town to see how they would match up against the better sprint car racing drivers around the country. So, grew up racing on dirt. I don't have a picture of it. Really wish I could have found something. I'm sure my grandparents have something of me as a little kid being next to Dale Blaney. We used to get pit passes all the time, and I always had to make sure I got some sort of souvenir at his hauler in the garage, because the way it is with sprint car racing, or at least locally, you would go to their haulers, and that's where you would get the main driver merchandise versus the track merchandise. So it was a little unique. If you've been to a NASCAR race, it's obviously a lot different as far as like where you get the merchandise for drivers and stuff like that. But definitely have a lot of Dale Blaney merchandise. I might have to grab one of my Dale Blaney shirts and show you guys by the end of the stream today, or maybe during the race later. Maybe the one that Blaney's actually racing would be better. Green flag back in the air. 9 laps to go in stage number 1. Sheldon Creed again electing the inside lane. Friesen on the outside. 3 wide back there for third between Kraft and Zane Smith. Truex on the outside. Martin Truex Jr. that is. Again, his brother Ryan Truex in this race as well. Crafton slides up in front of the 21. Zane Smith unsponsored today for GMS. I did not know that. Didn't notice that in practice, but noticing that right now, it's an all blank white truck, and you know what white trucks might do on dirt. That thing is going to be muddy and dirty by the end of this one. It's not going to be white anymore. Thomas Murphy, welcome to the stream. How's Hailie Deegan doing? She's outside the top 10 now, but remember, she started outside the top 20. She is moving forward. I will give her that. Currently running in 18th. We've had a lot of caution laps so far. Well, I wouldn't say a lot. We've had 2 cautions for incident up to this point. Oh, a little contact further back. Gill and Johnny Sutter got squeezed together. There were 3, nearly 4 wide going off into turns 1 and 2. Again, everything really packed together after that restart a couple laps ago. And Martin Truex Jr. has just passed Stuart Friesen for second place. Martin Truex Jr. is running down the 2 truck of Sheldon Creed. Truex, no known dirt racing background, and around goes Chandler Smith. Gets drilled by Tyler Ankrum, Smith goes around with 6 laps to go in stage 1. It gets creamed head-on by Tyler Ankrum in the 26. Hailie Deegan just missed that wreck to the outside. Ankrum was running behind Deegan and had nowhere to go, and the left front of Ankrum's car is destroyed. Very hard crash for both the 18 and the 26. Checking the replay, it looked like Austin Wayne Self got into the left rear on the middle of turns 3 and 4 of the 18 truck of Chandler Smith. Parker Kligerman just missed to the inside with minimal contact, and Deegan just barely missed to the outside. Kyle Larson as well barely missed to the outside. Bruce C., welcome to the stream. Patrick Chatterley, welcome as well. Preston Imler, welcome. What's Kyle Larson's place? Kyle Larson started further back. He is right around, well, he was right with Hailie Deegan right there, right around 15th to 20th right now. CJ Boomer 32, he'll get copyright. Yes, thank you. Again, the reason why I'm not showing the race live on here, and I'm only doing my realistic commentary, so simply you guys know what's going on, because I will get copyrighted if I put the stream up there. And you could say, well, what's one copyright strike? You don't have any. Well, they completely take the stream down anyway, so even if I would risk getting 1 copyright strike, despite the fact I don't have any, you guys would maybe see 2 minutes before they end up taking it down. Fox would likely take it down. I don't think NASCAR would necessarily take it down immediately, but Fox definitely would. That was a very hard accident. There was debris on the racetrack, and with only 6 laps to go in stage 1, it's going to be interesting to see if they'll actually be able to go green before the end of the stage. If they do, we'll probably only have a lap or 2 of green flag racing to decide the stage 1 winner. But this race is flying by. Again, only 150 laps. And I know it's Bristol on dirt and not concrete Bristol, so the lap times are a little bit slower, but still 20-second lap times. Story's pretty cool. Been a fan of NASCAR since 2008. Always liked Ryan Blaney since he won his first Nationwide Series race. Yes, I believe wasn't his first win at Kentucky. I could be wrong on that. I can't remember what his first Xfinity win was, but I think it was at Kentucky in the 22 car for Penske. He doesn't have many Xfinity Series wins, but I believe that was his first. So again, yes, if you guys do end up having any questions in the chat, I will not be able to check during the live commentary. Again, I'm trying to get as much info to you guys as possible, especially with these races that are not on the main Fox network, like this truck race here today, like most truck races really, are on the FS1 channel. A lot of people are not able to see this race, so this is kind of my output again. And obviously with it being on a Monday, a lot of people are at work. That's another reason to go along with it. So again, listen right along. That's the main part of this. And again, I greatly appreciate it if you did subscribe. We are very close to 800 subs. I think we can get there by the end of the day. YouTube's been deleting subs, as you saw. Yesterday we were at 796. Fox is back from the commercial. Looks like they're about to go green immediately. 1 lap to go. Restart for stage 1 as Creed is on the inside lane once again. Gets a great launch on Martin Truex Jr. Truex rolls it in deep into turns 1 and 2. He gets to the outside of Creed. They're side by side for the lead with a half a lap to go in stage 1. Creed looking for a playoff point. Truex trying to foil that plan. Contact off turn 4. They're rubbing for the playoff point. To the line. Creed gets the drive off the corner, but it's Martin Truex Jr. by about a half a truck length. Martin Truex Jr. wins stage 1 at Dirt Bristol in the Camping World Truck Series. Sheldon Creed 2nd, Zane Smith 3rd, Stuart Friesen 4th, John Hunter Nemechek 5th, Austin Hill 6th, Ben Rhodes 7th, Grant Enfinger 8th, Matt Crafton 9th, and Johnny Sauter rounds out the top 10. All 4 of those Store Motorsport trucks are in 7th through 10th. Creed sent it into turns 3 and 4. Couldn't get the grip that Truex had with the run off the outside lane, and that was enough for Martin Truex Jr. to win stage number 1 here at Dirt Bristol, taking that playoff point away from Sheldon Creed. So again, they went green with 1 lap to go. Gary Cohen. Man, a lot of people are getting salty about not being able to show the race. Again, I cannot actually show the race. I will get copyrighted for it. But that's why we're doing a live commentary, and I do the best job I possibly can to paint the picture of what's actually going on throughout the course of this race. I know we have a lot of people coming and going into the chat. We got 39 people watching now. That ties our stream record for the most people ever watching a stream. Let's get that to 40. One more person. We might break the record here. We might break the record. Again, I do not want to get the copyright strike for showing the race. And it's not like, I would get a copyright strike and the channel would stay up, or the stream would stay up, and would get taken down, I guarantee, within 2 minutes. I'm not even going to test that. 43! This is insane. This is insane. We've done races before. I know this was highly anticipated, too. For large majority reasons, it's dirt, it's Bristol. We got 43. Let's keep growing that. Jonathan Rogers, welcome to the stream. Wait, is the race happening right now? Yes, the Truck Series race is happening right now. Cup Series race at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time later today. Again, if you are able to watch, I don't like to take away viewers from what is actually going on. I know we don't get a lot of viewers on the channel anyway, but for TV rating purposes, the race is on Fox Sports 1 if you're able to watch it. If you'd rather prefer watching or listening to my commentary over the race, then that would be the way to go. Thomas Murphy, welcome to the stream. Top 10 question mark. Yes, so again, I'll reread the list of the top 10. They're during a commercial break now, so give me a second to pull up my NASCAR app, and I'll read off the top 10 in Stage 1. Martin Truex Jr. again gets the Stage 1 victory, but because he's a Cup Series regular, not like he gets a playoff point or anything. But for Kyle Busch Motorsports, that 51 team for owners' points go. Obviously good that he won Stage 1. Sheldon Creed finishes 2nd. Zane Smith finishes 3rd in Stage 1. Stuart Friesen, my pick to win today's race, 4th. John Hunter Nemechek rounded out the top 5. 6th through 10th goes Austin Hill, Ben Rhodes, Matt Crafton, Grant Enfinger, Johnny Sauter, the top 10. Notable drivers outside the top 10 in Stage 1. Dirt Ringer Chase Briscoe, Cup Series regular as well. 11th, Haley Deegan, up to 16th after starting outside the top 20. Again, we've had 3 cautions per incident, so although Stage 1 was 40 laps, they probably only ran about 25 of those under green. Kevin Harvick, 17th, another one of those Cup Series regulars. Bubba Wallace, 19th. Most of the Cup Series regulars started at the back. Kyle Larson is 25th, having a tough time trying to get through traffic right now. And then again, the trucks that have DNF so far are Tyler Ankrum, Carson Hocevar, and Chandler Smith. Or at least those are trucks that wrecked. I'm not sure exactly who might be out of the race. Ankrum is out of the race. He's 7 laps down. Hocevar's 2 laps down. I don't think he's out of the race. Chandler Smith 1 lap down. But Smith gets the free pass. at the stage break. So again, no live pit stops, but the trucks are on pit road, so it's a mandatory red flag. Again, in dirt racing, there are no live pit stops. I'm not sure how long this break is going to be. I would imagine it's probably going to be about 5 minutes. A 5-minute break for teams to make adjustments to the race trucks. And they will not alter their position, so Martin Truex Jr. will restart stage 2 with the lead, with Sheldon Creed also on the front row. Larson's left front is kind of beat up a little bit. You can definitely tell he's making contact further back in the pack, but he was definitely struggling, it looked like, with a loose race truck, a little too loose even for Larson's sake. 50 viewers, yeah, I'm sorry, I was looking at the on NASCAR app because Fox is on a commercial. Fox is back now. Man, 50. I don't think I ever thought that would happen on the I'm not going to lie. That's great. That's just great. Casey Bean, welcome to the stream again. I try to shout out anybody new that comes to the stream. For those of you that are new or not familiar with the channel, because we have so many people coming in now, it's a little harder. Moto Dirt Bike, welcome to the stream. Did they already start? Yes, race started basically right at noon Eastern Standard Time is when coverage took over. When Fox jumped to Bristol for the dirt race, for the coverage of the truck race, they were already on their pace lap, so within 2 minutes of them taking coverage, they went green. Stage 1 just completed. Again, Martin Truex Jr. won the first stage. If you guys want me to read off whoever is in the running order, I've already read the top 10 a couple times, but if you need me to repeat maybe where your favorite Truck Series drivers running, notable drivers you want to know where they are running, I will let you know now. Again, I try to look at the chat as much as I can. Due to there being maybe a little bit of a delay, I try not to do that during green flag runs, as well as not wanting to miss the action on the racetrack. But during cautions, during commercial breaks, and during stage breaks like we have right now, I will more than gladly read chat, any questions you might have, and anything of that nature. But again, doing a live commentary, realistic commentary, let you guys know what's going on. Thanks, bud. Good job. Thanks, Thomas Murphy. Shout out Bruce. Where's Bruce at? Bruce C., welcome to the stream. We need 69. Dummy, they're not racing this weekend. Yeah, they are at Dirt Bristol. Currently. Live action. Exciter, welcome to the stream. Rain, question mark. No. It is not raining. It's actually sunshiny day at Bristol. I believe the high was supposed to be like low 60s today. There's no rain in the forecast. Again, they are working the racetrack right now as well during the stage break. We are going to see that. No competition yellows in the Truck Series race, but there will be 2 competition yellows in the Cup race later today at lap 50 and lap 150 to work on the racetrack. They didn't announce that till literally a couple days ago. I think Saturday they announced it. I think they probably should have announced that a while ago. They should have known they were never going to be able to run 100 laps consecutively with 40 cars on the racetrack without tearing the track up. Let's see. Bristol, Tennessee weather right now. It's actually only 48 degrees currently, so definitely a cool day. We're supposed to warm up by the Cup race to about 58 degrees. High of 59. So again, they're under the stage 1 break, so if you're wondering why there's no live commentary over the last couple minutes, again, they're working on the racetrack. Like they are going to do during the stage breaks for both the Cup and the Truck Series, maintaining the racetrack, giving these teams a chance to adjust their race trucks or race cars for the race later today. Typically, if you were to go to a dirt racing show, most dirt racing shows, the 8 main events are 30 to 40 laps, maybe 50 in some cases. But there are some major events that they do run 100-lap races where they would usually have that competition caution or like a competition red flag like they have now for the teams to go on and refill their race truck or race car with fuel, again, depending on what the series may be. It obviously varies in other dirt racing companies. I know the World 100 at Eldora is a major late model race in the U.S. That's a 100-lap main event feature event. They do the same thing. They cut it in half, let the teams make adjustments. Usually that's like a 5 to 10 minute break. So again, I expect these stage breaks to be 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, we did get up to 50 people. I couldn't believe it. I don't think we're done yet either. It's only stage 1. Again, I greatly appreciate everybody coming in here today for this race. And again, maybe this is your only output to know what's going on and that is another reason why we are here. We originally planned on doing the truck race and the cup race anyway this weekend. Obviously, I didn't think they were going to be back-to-back like they are today, but definitely going to be here. There will be a little bit of a break between the truck race and the cup race. I expect this truck race to get done probably right around 2 o'clock, 2:30 at the very latest, so there will be a good hour and a half to 2 hour break, which is good for me. I can get a drink and do whatever I need to do in between races, grab something to eat so I'm not completely draining myself. But yes, I'm going to be live commentating both races here today. 798 subscribers, guys. We are so close to 800 right now. Again, 43 people. I couldn't be more thankful for you guys tuning in again. Really means a lot. And again, if you are new to the channel, instead of me just saying subscribe, like, the background behind the channel, again, my dream, the reason why I started the channel a little over a year ago was to commentate. I haven't started doing these live races until this season. Daytona Road Course, in fact, was the first time I did it for the truck race. We tested it out there. And I'm simply doing it for, obviously, the enjoyment. I'm a huge NASCAR fan. I've been a NASCAR fan my whole life. I've wanted to get into the sport of NASCAR, and I've wanted to be a sports commentator, especially for NASCAR. So this is my first foot in the door of trying to get the name out there. That's why the name of the channel is simply my name, so people get to know me. And we do these full race live streams with NASCAR video games as well as real NASCAR races. So again, we will actually be streaming a live realistic broadcast as well tonight that we originally had scheduled. NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode, again, full race. It'll actually be for the Truck Series at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park is the next race for the Career Mode, so that will be later today as well. One thing I was wondering what they were going to do, if they were going to count the actual caution laps during the stage breaks. It looks like they are, because it's showing lap 42 right now, so it looks like they are counting the caution laps during the stage breaks today. As the field is back on the racetrack, they are taking some pace laps here, trying to organize the running order, and then they will go green for stage 2. Zachary Suggs, welcome to the stream. You're on my Roku. Thanks, man. 54 people. We are blowing away the stream record. I think the stream record was 39. I believe NASCAR Heat 5 at the Charlotte Roval was the highest we have ever gotten for concurrent viewers during the course of a stream. Conrad Brown, welcome to the stream. How many Cup drivers are in the truck race today? There are 6 Cup Series regulars. There were supposed to be 7, but Ryan Newman did not make the show due to the heat races being canceled completely. No heat races due to all the rain that happened on Saturday. So Newman missed the show. And then there's an Xfinity Series regular as well. Myatt Snyder is also in the field. So 7 non-truck series drivers that are in the field today, and 6 of those are Cup Series regulars. And again, the 6 Cup Series regulars are Bubba Wallace, Kevin Harvick, Chase Briscoe. Let me see here. I don't have the running order. Martin Truex Jr. We got 2 more. Come on, give me the running order on the screen so I can... I'm trying to remember them off the top of my head. Here, let me just look on the NASCAR app. The other 2 are Kyle Larson. Yeah, duh. And... oh, Daniel Suarez. I forgot. He's in the Young Motorsports number 02 truck today. People at work looking for a live feed of the race. Yeah, exactly. Dirt race is the only reason I'm checking out NASCAR. Google search. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, definitely a highly anticipated event. Even the Truck Series race. I mean, it's dirt at Bristol. Highly anticipated. Originally, my plans were to go to this race. The tickets sold out so quick with the limited capacity, especially that they were going to have due to COVID, and I was not able to get tickets for this race. But growing up as a dirt racing fan, I definitely wanted to go to this, and growing up as an overall NASCAR fan, I really wanted to go to this. Again, I was at the last dirt truck race at Eldora in 2019. It was the first time I went to that. Even though it's in my home state, you would think I would have went to Eldora more, but I grew up mainly going to more local racetracks. But yeah, ever since I turned 18 and graduated high school, I've been traveling to different NASCAR races too, pretty much when it came available, because outside of my grandparents, which, got me into NASCAR, they didn't, actually go to the racetrack. My grandpa took me to my first NASCAR race in 2015 for the August, Michigan race, and I was 16 years old then, and that was the only race I went to before I was 18 years old. I graduated, and I was able to, travel. I had money because I had a job since I was 16, and from that point, I was like, okay, so what I want to do with my money, I want to do this, so then, obviously now history is made with the channel and everything else. Lights are out on the pace truck. They will be going green this time by. They're going into turns 3 and 4. Martin Truex Jr. is restarting in row 2. I'm not sure why. He won stage 1. That's a little confusing. I didn't pick up on that. On the front row, it is going to be Stuart Friesen and John Hunter Nemechek. Friesen on the inside, Nemechek on the outside. Green flag back in the air at Bristol. 63 people watching. Ken, man, I greatly appreciate it. Hit that like button if you haven't already as well. Friesen clears the Ford truck of John Hunter Nemechek going off into turn 3. Truex, Creed side by side for second, and already around goes Spencer Boyd in the 20, but he rolls to the inside of the racetrack. At the back of the pack, we stay green. One of the Thor Motorsport trucks of Ben Rhodes working himself into the top 5, getting around Sheldon Creed, who led the most laps in stage 1. Martin Truex Jr. to the high side. He's been working the outside a lot today. Not all the way up near the wall on the cushion necessarily, but in that middle lane, pinching the 52 truck down and gets a great drive off turn 4. Martin Truex Jr. back in the lead here in the Bristol truck race. Creed starting to work his way back forward to the inside now with a Ford truck of John Hunter Nemechek. Now crosses to the outside into turns 3 and 4, opening up the bottom for Ben Rhodes back in 4th place. Chase Briscoe continually trying to move himself forward after that restart, up to 9th after finishing 11th in stage 1 in the 04 truck. He's the next highest Cup Series regular behind Truex, who is running first. Again, no known record of Martin Truex Jr. having really any dirt experience, so the fact that he is dominating right now, and he hasn't led a lot of laps necessarily, but he's already over a second ahead of Friesen, just a couple laps after taking the lead. The second stage is 50 laps long. Again, the final stage will be 60 laps. Creed trying to battle back, maybe trying to get closer to Truex. Right now he's battling Friesen for second. Friesen looked fast on the very short run. I think that's why he was able to jump out to the lead for a couple laps on the restart. I don't know if the air pressure set wrong on that racetrack or what it might be doing, but we know Friesen was going to be a competitive driver in today's truck race, having that major dirt race experience background. Again, a former dirt winner at Eldora. Interesting fact, in the 7 dirt races in the truck series that they have had in not the last 7 years, I guess, technically, because they didn't run last year, but at Eldora, there were 7 different winners. Nobody's won more than once. Can Martin Truex Jr. keep that trend working here today in this truck race at Dirt Bristol? And is this maybe foreshadowing something to come later on today? Oh, and around goes the Ford truck. John Hunter Nemechek from 5th position spins. I think he saved it. I don't think he actually hit the outside wall, and now he gets creamed by the 19 and the 25. Well, after the caution was already out, Derek Kraus just slammed into the Ford truck of John Hunter Nemechek, who was sitting on the outside of the racetrack. The 75 of Parker Kligerman also came in. Major damage. And there's a major oil leak coming out of the Ford truck on the bottom of the racetrack, out of the great racing groove, luckily. And that is going to be the end of the day for John Hunter Nemechek as well as Derek Kraus. Major damage on both of their race trucks. They are parked on the inside after rolling down the banking. 803 subs. Again, thank you, everybody. Can't appreciate it enough. Mystic Studios, welcome to the stream. So yeah, simply John Hunter Nemechek lost control. He actually saved the spin, didn't hit the outside wall. Caution lights were on, and then literally maybe 4 or 5 seconds after the caution already came out, randomly the 19 truck goes sliding to the outside, as well as the 25 of Parker Kligerman. Kligerman mostly missed. John Hunter Nemechek was obviously upset with Derek Kraus. Again, no replay cam has shown why Derek Kraus got sideways well after the caution already waved. John Hunter Nemechek noticeably mad. Looks like he was yelling at Derek Kraus there down on the bottom of the racetrack. That was a tough break. And that's how he spun. So, took the third angle of the replay. It looked like the 88 of Matt Crafton got into the back of John Hunter Nemechek and spun him out going into turn 3. I was wondering how he spun on his own. And it just looked like Derek Kraus simply lost control in the middle of the corner under caution and slammed into him. Fight in the pits for that. I don't think there's going to be a fight, but John Hunter Nemechek was noticeably upset there. Dusty, question mark. No, it is not very dusty right now. Again, there was a lot of moisture on the racetrack, likely from the rain that they've had over the last couple days. So the moisture is still there. There isn't a lot of dust rising to the occasion like we saw in the practice sessions a couple days ago. But as the moisture and the heat and it's not going to get hot today, which is also going to help the moisture kind of stay down. Again, the high temperature is 59 degrees. I just checked the weather for Bristol under the stage break. So, yeah, it's only going to get up to 59 degrees today. There's going to be a lot of moisture on the racetrack, but I bet by the Cup race later, when it's at its warmest temperatures throughout the course of the day, it might get a little dustier then. But as far as the truck race today, I don't expect it to be too dusty. So, for the fans' sake, I guess that's a little bit better. A lot of spins in this race, so a very sloppy truck race, but granted, actually a stat that I looked up earlier in the week that I mentioned on the podcast last night for the predictions for the Cup Series is that in the last 4 truck races at Eldora, there were 12 cautions, 9, 9, and 9. So at least 9 cautions in the last 4 truck races at Eldora. So for anybody wondering, maybe a sloppier, race perhaps for the Cup Series, I think it'll be a little more tame than the truck race today. Simply just because the Truck Series race that we've known to come seems like there's a lot. First off, there's a lot more younger competitors. The Truck Series isn't what it used to be, where there was a lot of older veterans with the mix of the young crop. There are some veterans still out there, like Johnny Sauter, Matt Crafton. I would consider Grant Enfinger as one of those guys as well. But a lot of them are really young and inexperienced. So coming into dirt, especially with that inexperience. Even with Eldora the last couple years, there's been less Cup Series regulars in the last few Eldora races. There's a lot today in the Bristol Dirt race, but none of the Cup regulars have made a mistake so far. Jonathan Blaine, welcome to the stream. Show us the race, my man. Yeah, again, I cannot show the race, unfortunately. Again, if I show the race, I will get copyrighted. The channel will get taken down. GK Gaming. Not real dirt racing. I agree with you. I agree with you to a certain extent on that. It is real dirt racing in the aspect that they're actually trying to race their hardest, but because I get why you say it's not real dirt racing, because there's a lack of dirt racing experience for sure in the field in both races today. But again, with it being the Truck Series, the truck drivers are a lot younger, more aggressive. Again, I expected there to be more cautions. And yeah, again, the caution was already out. So the caution was already out. They're showing the replay of the wreck again. Derek Kraus was trying to slide up in front of the 25. It almost looked like Derek Kraus didn't even know the caution was out, because he pulled a slide job under the caution on the 25 of Parker Kligerman and lost control after pulling the slide job and slammed right into the Ford truck of John Hunter Nemechek. There's a red flag on the racetrack again. There was oil leaking from the Ford truck after that head-on contact to the front of his race truck, and it looks like the NASCAR officials are even talking to Derek Kraus like, what are you doing right now? Why are you moving the truck? For one, it's a red flag, and for two, why were you racing under caution? Both drivers are okay. It was a pretty hard hit for Nemechek sitting backwards, and he was out of the group too. He was up near the wall on the outside, so Kraus just lost control under caution completely. That just mind boggles me. I don't think I've probably seen it before on replays and stuff, but I can't recall a time ever where there was an accident during the caution because somebody was still trying to race even though the caution was already out. It's not 2003 and prior where you're racing back to the caution flag, so I don't know what Derek Kraus was doing there. Again, this wasn't immediately like they threw the caution and then they were still wrecking. The caution was out for a good at least 4 or 5 seconds. That's when the drivers are supposed to back it down, and even the replay indicated that Derek Kraus was literally pulling a slide job on Parker Kligerman under the caution, and he didn't clear him and basically turned himself from that point into the 4 truck of John Hunter Nemechek. So red flag is out, and not because of a stage break this time. It is out due to the accident and the oil leakage coming from the 4 truck. Current running order while we're under the red flag. Again, Martin Truex Jr. in the lead right now. It is currently lap number 50 of 150, so 100 laps to go. Still in the middle of stage 2. Ben Rhodes is second. Stuart Friesen is third. Sheldon Creed fourth. Matt Crafton fifth. Austin Hill sixth. Grant Enfinger seventh. Chase Briscoe up to eighth. Todd Gilliland ninth. Austin Wayne Self rounds out the top 10. Someone to keep an eye on, though, as this race has gone forward, is Hailie Deegan. And I'm not just saying that. Hailie Deegan is up to 13th after starting well outside the top 20 today. We've had 4 cautions. This is the 4th caution for incident, not including the stage break. So I guess even if you want to include the stage break, we've had 5 cautions. So a lot of caution laps in the first 50 laps of today's race, giving drivers like Deegan and Larson that started further back less time to get to the front. And Kyle Larson still is not inside the top 20. He is struggling mightily with that race truck. So for anybody wondering, I think this is a great indicator. For anybody wondering that Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell are an absolute lock for the race later today in the Cup Series, I would say that that is not the case. And I stated that during the podcast last night. There's more dirt experience for one than you think in the Cup Series race later today that could maybe contend outside of those guys. I think just racing on dirt in general is going to bring some of these smaller teams with a driver with less dirt race or with more dirt racing background to perform better. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is a major example of that, I believe. Even Ryan Newman to a certain extent. I looked at J.J. Yeley. I predicted J.J. Yeley to get a top 15, maybe even a top 10 finish in Rick Ware Racing Equipment in the Cup Series race later today as well. So again, under the red flag right now. Comment down below how many of you guys are watching the race. Like actually watching it on FS1. Or maybe you're at the racetrack. I know Trevor Grimes is at the racetrack. Dan Gomez, welcome to the stream. Larson FTW. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Larson right now. Larson is my pick to win the Cup race today, but I'm just saying I wouldn't absolutely shoo him in. Another fact that I mentioned as well is that Kyle Larson, in the first 4 dirt races at Eldora in the Truck Series, it took him 4 races to go to victory lane. And we thought he was an absolute lock probably the inaugural year, and Austin Dillon pulled off the win. And then the next year he didn't win it. The next year he was running consistent, he was leading laps, he was running good, but as far as actually getting the win, he just wasn't able to get it done. Cal started racing karts here, and then sprint cars in Northern California, yes. Yeah, as far as drivers in NASCAR go from the state of Ohio, there isn't a lot, so I can't say that like I grew up watching, such and such race. Again, the reason why I'm a Ryan Blaney fan is because Dale Blaney and Dave Blaney are very big names in sprint car racing in the state of Ohio. Obviously, Dave was in NASCAR too, but Northwest Ohio in particularly, I watched both those guys race growing up, and Dale Blaney was my favorite. Red number 2 car for the longest time. He was my favorite. I remember I was excited. So one day, another story with that, I couldn't tell you when because I've been to the track so many times. But one of the days actually was the car scraper on Dale Blaney's sprint car. Essentially, I scraped the mud off the car. We were down in the pits. It was after the feature. It was after the night was over, so they didn't care that a little kid was touching the car. I was probably like 8 years old, 10 years old, somewhere around there. I was really young. And I can remember that they gave me a scraper, and I was literally just scraping the mud off the roll cage of the of the sprint car. They had a bag. I took home some of the mud. That was really cool. That might have been the same night I got a picture with him and everybody else. But I went to their hauler a lot, so that was probably like one of those things like, hey, this kid comes over here a lot. Should just let him do that. We didn't go every week because my grandpa was still working at the time too. So we probably went like once a month. But I mean, you're talking like we went dirt racing once a month for probably 6 months. So I went dirt racing, went to watch sprint car racing at Fremont or Attica or wherever 6 times out of the year, every year from like I can remember to at least age like 16, 17, 18. I haven't been local track in a few years since I started going to NASCAR races. So 2017 was probably the last year I went going to dirt racing. It was a little harder too when I was racing, but usually like if I had an off week of me racing myself, that's when I would go to the sprint car race. Which was usually about once a month. Yeah, so they just interviewed John Hunter Nemechek, and Michael Waltrip is actually counting the race trucks that were going by. So Michael Waltrip counted 18 trucks that passed John Hunter Nemechek before Derek Kraus piled in. We are yelling so I can hear you. Or we are in yellow so I can hear you. My bad, I misread that. Track is loud. Yeah, it's still Thunder Alley. It is still Bristol Motor Speedway. I was there for the All-Star races, my first ever trip to Bristol last season. I can confirm it is very loud, and that was with half the race cars on the racetrack at the same time. It was still loud. It was still living up to the hype of it being so loud. I would imagine even with dirt racing, it's the same thing. And a lot of it, too, with empty bleachers, I would actually imagine it would be even louder with empty bleachers because it would echo the sound more than if it was a packed crowd due to COVID, obviously. I'm sure if there was no COVID going on right now, maybe not the truck race, but I guarantee the Cup race would have sold out, especially with it being the first time ever running dirt in the Cup Series in 50 years, at least, and then obviously being at Bristol and seating well over 100,000 people in the grandstands alone. Yes, I very well can pretty much guesstimate that they would have sold out. I was sitting right where that crash was. Yeah, that should not have... what was your take on it? Like, how did it look in person? Because the caution was out, and Derek Kraus just clobbered Nemechek well after the caution was out. Parker Kligerman did not get much damage, and he actually keeps his track position. He's in 12th right now. So after that little red flag cleaning up the mess from the oil leaking out of the Ford truck of John Hunter Nemechek, we're finally going to go back to racing. Lights are out on the pace truck. They're on the back straightaway right now. Again, Martin Truex Jr. is the race leader after winning stage 1. Creed has led the most laps today, though. He is sitting in 4th. Outside row 1 is going to be Ben Rhodes. It looks like the inside is the preferred lane on the restart so far. It looks like everybody has chose the inside from the very start of the race. Suspend John Hunter Nemechek for what he did. It was inappropriate. He was rightfully mad. He's definitely putting on a show for the crowd, though, I'm sure. Showing his displeasure. Green flag is back in the air. Ben Rhodes actually got the jump on the outside that time. Huge dust bowl with all the speedy dry they have on the racetrack. Not sure why they had the speedy dry on the track. They didn't put more dirt on it or something. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen speedy dry on a dirt track before, but that definitely made a huge dust bowl that was probably hard to see in turns 1 and 2, but they made it out. Side-by-side action still for the lead. They've been side-by-side since the restart until now. Off of turn 2, Martin Truex Jr. is able to clear Ben Rhodes. Rhodes is charging hard, though. He looks like the faster of the Thor Motorsport trucks. We saw Crafton in the top 3 earlier. He was never actually able to contend for the race lead. Bubba Wallace, Chase Purdy sliding around, battling mid-pack. Right around 17th, 18th. A lot of bumpers being displayed. The left rear of Chase Purdy's truck's already caved in. 40 of Ryan Truex just got into the back of him trying to move him out of the way. Truex could sweep. Yeah, you never know. 0.6 of a second lead on Ben Rhodes. Now that Rhodes fell behind Truex and Truex is able to actually run his line out in front, that's going to be huge. See, here's the thing, too. I expect lap traffic to be a factor with this many trucks on the racetrack, especially in the Cup Series with the cars as well. I think the Cup Series will have longer green flag runs. I really do. But the Truck Series, again, known for having more cautions than any racetrack, especially in the later Eldora races as well. I guess this is kind of expected that we've had 5 cautions, if you count the stage break, already in today's race, and we're only 62 laps in. And we have another caution. Not sure what it's for. And it looks like it's the 10 truck of Jennifer Jo Cobb that has gone around. So Jennifer Jo Cobb has spun. Still parked on the inside of the racetrack. Looks like she might have hit one of those turtles on the bottom of the track as well. Another caution. Kraus went too high for a pass and spun. Yeah, the thing was, though, is that the caution was already out. And it wasn't like it was just Fox that waved it too. Again, even on the replay, the caution lights were on when John Hunter Nemechek was there, and a lot of trucks missed him to the inside. So Nemechek was noticeably mad. I don't blame him for being upset about that, for sure. I mean, I guess I kind of expected this to happen, especially in the Truck Series, caution after caution after caution, when it definitely is getting tired. I'd like to see some green flag racing. Please? Maybe? Yep, there are 3 females in this race. Wreckfest, indeed. It is a wreckfest up to this point. A lot of people feared that, more so for the Cup race, but again, my predictions that I figured the truck race was going to have way more cautions on the Cup race. We will still have some occasional spins in the Cup race, don't get me wrong. It's still an experience on dirt, but the experience of being in a stock car, especially knowing the horsepower of the race cars, that does play into effect still, even though they're racing on dirt, as far as trying to keep control and keep handle of the race trucks. I even noticed in Truck Series practice, there were more spins in Truck Series practice than what there was in Cup practice. There was very few spins in Cup Series practice, believe it or not. So, obviously, they're going to race more aggressively when they're actually racing for positions, but all these cautions coming out are definitely stunting the drivers that start further back in the pack. And you look, again, Kyle Larson is starting at the back in the Cup race due to an engine change in practice, and that is definitely plaguing him right now. Yes, his handling of the race truck wasn't great in Stage 1, but Kyle Larson, even still, is outside the top 20. He got in very briefly into the top 20, but he wasn't there long, and he fell right outside of it quickly. Probably because of maybe not having a preferred lane on the restart, getting stacked up out of line, and then you get a caution after 5 laps. Then maybe you're on the outside lane again. You don't want to be on the outside on the restart. Again, there's no choose cone for this race like there is on the other asphalt races. There's no way they were going to be able to paint the orange box and have it stay there with dirt. So that is a huge reason for, obviously, why they don't have the choose cone this week. So you're just kind of stuck in the lane restarting with these double file restarts. Amar Israel, welcome to the stream. V8 RWD on dirt will be hard. Yeah. Wow. That doesn't really do it so much justice, though. They're showing a side-by-side of Chase Briscoe and Bubba Wallace. Briscoe last year racing on, concrete Bristol, and Bubba Wallace racing mid-pack on dirt Bristol, and they were showing all the dirt, but most of that was speedy dry, laid down that you couldn't really see through. They made it through that, but a couple laps later is when Jennifer Jo Cobb went around. 24 laps to go in stage 2. I guess that's the saving grace with there being caution after caution and these red flag stoppages is the fact that it is a shorter race as far as laps go. Remember, a concrete race at Bristol, even for the Truck Series, would be about 200 laps. So longer than what they're having here on dirt. I just want to see some green flag racing. I want to see these guys slinging it around like they are, but for more than 5 laps at a time. I don't think we've had a green flag run longer than 8 laps. There's no way they've had a green flag run longer than 8 laps so far. They feared that the motor was bad from blocked cooling hose. Yes, especially with the dirt being caked in. Not as dusty again right now, more muddy, so I feel like that's going to be more of a factor in the truck race than the cup race today. When the track dries out, the temperature slowly increases. I know, again, it's only supposed to get to 58, 59 degrees for the cup race, but it's still 10 degrees warmer than what it is now. That makes a huge difference. Green flag back in the air. Martin Truex Jr. restarts on the outside lane this time instead of the inside. Very interesting. First time we've seen anybody try to restart on the top. And he's still side-by-side with Ben Rhodes. That might not have been the way to go. Rhodes charging hard on the bottom lane as they are still side-by-side a lap after the restart. Side-by-side for second place as well. Austin Hill finally clears Sheldon Creed. And look out for Chase Briscoe inside the top 5 now chugging forward. And that 04 truck. Briscoe has run a couple dirt Eldora races back when he was racing for Brad Keselowski's team. So he's been in a truck and obviously a major dirt racing background growing up as well. And Norm Benning now has a flat tire, and we have another caution. 2 laps after the restart this time, he's got a flat left rear. I'm not sure if he had contact with that or if it just went flat. I would have to imagine that he probably had contact. So Norm Benning stopped on the racetrack after he had the left rear tire, and as soon as the caution came out, he was able to get back under speed again. And they had to throw the caution because he was stopped on the middle, on the bottom of the racetrack. So I understand why NASCAR had to throw the caution, but as soon as that caution waved, he carried it back forward again. It looks like there might have been damage there with Kyle Larson. Major damage on the right front of Kyle Larson's race truck. I think he might have gotten into the left rear of Norm Benning, causing Benning's left rear tire to go flat. No replay of it yet, but knowing that the left rear was flat, I was assuming it was contact that cut it. Larson's got a huge chunk taken out of the right front of his race truck. Though his tire isn't flat himself, it looks like his tire is okay. Definitely some damage. Aerodynamics are not going to be a huge factor in this race versus what you would see on, say, like a dirt midget or sprint car race. Again, these speeds that these guys are running are a lot slower than what you would see in even like a sprint car. Average speed for a lap time in practice was right around that 90 mile an hour mark and upwards of just over 100 miles an hour by the time they get into the corner. And I'm sure it's even slower back in traffic when everything is packed together and bunched together. They're side by side. They're 3 wide on the restarts. Cup race will be the same if they race hard. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be like this. I really don't. And again, despite what people want to say about the Cup Series maybe not being the best 40 drivers in NASCAR, which I could agree with you, definitely. But at the same time, too, they are a lot better than Todd Gilliland, Austin Wayne Self, Rafael Lessard. Names like that are in the top 10 right now. They have a lot more experience. It's a big difference maker for sure, and that's why I feel like the Cup race will have longer green flag runs. It's a longer race by 100 laps too. It will pain me to see that kind of a race again. If the Cup race is like the truck race today, which again I don't expect it to be, but if it is, then I don't know. I I don't think they bring their Bristol back next year. I don't think they should if both races are going to be a wreckfest like this. Because, again, we have not seen anything. Tyler Burbeck, welcome to the stream. I'm going to look on the NASCAR app right now. Well, we've had 7 cautions today. We're not even halfway through this race. And that's counting the stage break. We have one more stage break coming up soon. There's only 16 laps to go in stage 2. Lights are out on the pace truck, so they're about to go green again. This was a very quick caution. Again, no cleanup to have to get done there due to Norm Benning basically just stopping with the flat tire and then getting rolling again. There was no debris from the tire actually shedded on the racetrack. Truex is going to go back to the bottom lane. He elected the outside on the last restart, maybe as a test to see how it would work, and it took him a little longer to clear Ben Rhodes. So he restarts on the inside lane this time with Ben Rhodes on the top. Sheldon Creed got a great jump on the restart back in 4th place. Gives Rhodes a shove on the straightaway, which is good. Not in the corner to turn him around. And Ben Rhodes is going to take the lead off turn 2 from Martin Truex Jr. Help from probably Sheldon Creed that allowed Ben Rhodes to clear and get to the lead. Rhodes doesn't slide to the bottom, though. Truex is able to clear Creed, and Truex is trying to fire back on all cylinders to the inside of Rhodes. Now Rhodes gets to the bottom of the track, pinching the 51 truck off. Well, they made it a lap and a half into this restart this time, and we have a good battle for the lead continuously going on. Truex has probably the faster race truck than Ben Rhodes, finally gets to the inside in turns 3 and 4. Norm Benning trying to work his way back up onto the racetrack. Oh, my goodness. They pinched those guys 3 wide further back. I thought he was going to cause an accident. He was creeping right along, too, just trying to get up to speed. Truex pushes up the racetrack. Maybe a little contact with the 99. Gets a drive off, and they still cannot clear. They have been side by side for the lead between the 99 of Ben Rhodes on the outside and the 51 of Truex on the inside for a good 3 to 4 laps, and finally Truex beats Rhodes back to the gas and clears him off turn 2. Still battling all the way through traffic, and around goes the 33 truck now, and cautions out again for Myatt Snyder. Another caution. One of the only Xfinity Series regular in the field today. Okay, Joey. Joey Logano said that we remember earlier in the race when we ran 15 to 18 laps under green before we had a caution. That did not happen. I'm just I'm putting that out there right now. I know, Joey, you got to know your facts before you just, especially live on commentary. Trucks still have one more dirt race at Knoxville. Yes, I know. It's a sad part. And that was a major decline with the Eldora truck race, I think, is because, again, the first 3 races were pretty good. There was actually some green flag racing. The last 4, not so much. The last 4 races had 9 or more cautions, and today we've already had 8 cautions, and we're still in stage 2. Yeah, there was Norm Benning trying to work his way onto the track. There were 4 wide right around him. Larson made a little contact. The 0-2 of Suarez made contact with Benning as well. I don't know what Norm Benning was thinking there, pulling up in the middle of traffic as slow as he was. Oh, my gosh. I'm surprised they didn't wreck. I saw them making contact back there, and pretty significant with Suarez. Knocked him sideways, but Suarez did a great job saving it. He does have a lot of damage on the right side of his race truck. But he hit him square. He didn't hit him on the tires to cut one of Suarez's race tires. Least favorite track to watch on the Cup schedule. Announcers just said it's very slick out there. I mean, it's dirt. It's gonna be. I mean, you have to turn right to go left. I mean, it's gonna be slick. No, it's slicker than what it started. just because the moisture is lacking a little bit more, but at the same time, too, it's not as slick as what it was in practice when it was a Dust Bowl. These guys are just driving in over their heads right now. That's all that's going on. Yeah, as far as least favorite track, I don't know. There isn't a track that I would like watch that like NASCAR goes to. Okay, no, I'm not going to watch this race because they're racing there. That's not the case. I watch every race, every Cup race at least. I'll miss the trucks and Xfinity races on occasion just because of work and everything else. It doesn't match up as well. I try to watch them when I can, but definitely make it a must watch for the Cup races no matter what. I don't know. Yeah, Pocono would probably be up there, but I haven't been to a lot of these tracks too, so I can't really say for a fact that, Indianapolis on the Oval I've been to, and that was actually a really good race in 2018. And it was fun. It kept me highly interested. I will be going to Pocono later this year, so I don't know. I don't have a clear answer to that question, but I'd probably lean towards Pocono, but I'm not going to say Pocono doesn't put on good races because Pocono has put on good races. It comes and goes. It's like that with any track. Even the best tracks, out there that you would say don't usually have a bad race, still have one from time to time. Just not as often as some of the others. Green flag back in the air. 6 laps to go in stage number 1 here at Bristol. Truex again restarting on the outside instead of the inside. But this time Truex is able to clear Rhodes off turn 2. So he was not able to do that the last time he restarted. We know Rhodes for being an aggressive driver. Knowing there's a Cup Series regular ahead of him, does he race him aggressively to try and get this playoff point to the end of the stage? If he's smart, I probably wouldn't do that right now. They got a lot more spaced out in single file that time, but we are going to get a caution for the stage break in 5 laps now, as there is only 5 to go in this stage. Luke Jarvis, 07, great job on the commentary. Thank you and welcome to the stream, by the way, if I did not catch you in the stream earlier. Truex has a half a second lead now on Ben Rhodes, and Martin Truex Jr. has looked like the man to beat here today. Looks like there's a tire rub on the 75 of Parker Kligerman right now. Remember, he had contact earlier with the 19 of Derek Kraus, and it does look like there's white smoke rolling out from underneath the race truck. Hopefully he can make it a couple more laps before the end of the stage. He's only got 3 more, and there's a huge battle going on for that final stage point right around 10th between Grant Enfinger, who has the 10th spot, Matt Crafton trying to work the outside, 3 wide now with Haley Deegan sandwiched in the middle of Matt Crafton and Zane Smith. And again, Parker Kligerman's in the mix as well. 1 second lead now at the line with 2 laps to go in the stage for Martin Truex Jr. Chase Briscoe looks like if he can get the track position, might have the speed to keep up with Martin Truex Jr. But as of right now, Truex has dominated this race, even under the few green flag runs we've had so far. And it looks like they are going to get to the end of the stage without a caution if they can make it just 1 more lap. Enfinger still holding on to that final stage point right now in 10th. Well, the swarm of trucks right behind him, all battling 2 and 3 wide still. Martin Truex Jr. is going to sweep the stages in the Bristol Dirt Truck Race. Winning stage 2, followed by Ben Rhodes, Austin Hill, Chase Briscoe, Sheldon Creed, the top 5. And then Gillen, Friesen, Lassard, Self, and Enfinger round out the top 10. Jackson Thomas, welcome to the stream. For those of you wondering if we are close to the record, or we might have broken the record for the most people watching in a single stream on the channel, we were up to 63 earlier. So yes, we by far broke it, almost doubled it. Well, okay, maybe not quite almost, but previous record was 39 for a NASCAR Heat 5 stream at the Charlotte Roval at least a few months ago. And if you're also just tuning in to know what's going on with the race again, Martin Truex Jr. has just won Stage 2. He won the first stage of the race as well. He's led the most laps now. A large majority of this race has been ran under caution. If you count the stage breaks, we have now had 9 cautions in today's race. And it's unfortunate the stage break had to come right there because they were actually getting spaced out. They were actually able to race under green for those 6 laps before the caution. And there were still some battles going on mid-pack, especially in the top 10 for those stage points. All important stage points for the Truck Series regulars. Yeah, we also hit 800 subs. We still have a lot of people watching right now, which I greatly appreciate it for. 31. It's unfortunate. I know another reason why I wanted to go green more often so I could actually give the live commentary, give my realistic commentary, but we've had so many cautions that I just haven't been able to do that. At least with the cautions, if you look at the bright side of things, which I usually try to do, is that I'm able to look at the chat more often under the yellow. Why did NASCAR get rid of Kentucky? Not sure exactly what went down to that. I think with Atlanta adding a second date, so Atlanta's got 2 dates now, they had to take away another one of the SMI dates, which happened to be Kentucky, so that's why they chopped Kentucky off the schedule. And they added that date for the Truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series, so that's why not even the Truck or Cup Series races, or Truck or Xfinity races there. Remember, Truck and Xfinity raced at Kentucky well before the Cup Series went there in the early 2010s. Back up to 42 people watching. Again, Martin Truex Jr. leads. He has won the first 2 stages. They're under the red flag now for the stage break. The mandatory pit stops are happening now. See, with the red flag that came out earlier in the race today, there were no pit stops allowed unless you were involved in the wreck. But granted, that wreck took out a couple of the race trucks. The drivers that are out of today's race and have DNF'd include Tyler Ankrum, John Hunter Nemechek, and Derek Kraus are all out of today's race due to an accident. Norm Benning as well is out of the race now. 19 laps down. Jake Griffin, I believe, is still on the track, but he's 3 laps down in 34 truck. 35 drivers still on the lead lap. If it was my choice, would have chopped a Pocono race to bring Kentucky back. Yeah, the only problem with that is Pocono is self-owned right now. I don't even think NASCAR owns Pocono. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe Pocono is kind of like owned by its... I don't know who the owner of Pocono is, but I don't believe even NASCAR owns Pocono. Obviously, NASCAR has, the rights of whether they want a schedule or not. I don't know what that contract looks like, but I know with SMI owning Kentucky, adding that extra race at Atlanta meant they had to chop one of their other races off the schedule, and that was one of them. I wish Kentucky was on the schedule too, simply because it was only 3.5 hours from where I lived. I only went there once. I probably should have went there more often. I went there in 2018, and literally the 2 races after that had crazy finishes, and I thought 2019 was an overall good race too. Granted, there weren't fans there in 2020, so I guess I wouldn't have had a choice then, but a lot of that's because I tried to go to a different track. I'm trying to hit all the Cup Series racetracks. Obviously, I know the schedule changes, but at least I was able to get to Kentucky and Chicagoland before they went out, so. Only adds more tracks that I can go to that would be new. Adding to the list. A lot of trucks have damage. There's been a lot of beating and banging in traffic. Again, there's been a lot of aggression. Kentucky had a crazy finish last year. Yeah, exactly. The last 2 years, really. The Bush and Bush show. They had a photo finish at the line, side by side, battling in that restart. And it was a good battle between Kyle Busch and Logano before that caution that brought Kurt Busch back into the mix. And yeah, 2020 obviously was too. But those were both late race restarts that caused those good finishes. I think we were going to see a really good finish between Logano and Kyle Busch at Kentucky in 2019 if that caution didn't come out. But we saw an even better one with the Busch brothers. So, again, they were nose to tail with about 10 to 15 laps to go. And they were battling back and forth too, passing each other. Going to more West races next year. Yeah, I until NASCAR comes out the schedule, I'm not going to know at all what races I'm going to be going to in 2022. I'm more focused on 2021 right now, especially with not being at a race yet this year. But once the schedule comes out, NASCAR gets closer to the end of the season, I'll be able to budget and figure out what races I go to the following year. But I definitely got to get to the West races. I have not been as far west as Chicago for Chicagoland yet. Road America is a little further west, and I will be going there this year, but still, I have not been to Texas. I've not been to Kansas. I've not been to, obviously, Circuit of the Americas. I will not have been to this year. I'm not going for that one. All the races way out west, like Las Vegas, Phoenix, Auto Club, Sonoma. Yeah, so I still got a lot of tracks I got to get to. I haven't been to New Hampshire yet as far as the east to northeast. I haven't been to Richmond. That I don't plan on. These are the tracks I don't plan on going to this year either that I'm naming. So, yeah, Richmond's on that list. Pumped on the Bristol dirt. Trey Irby, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I was pumped coming into the day. This truck race is a little lackluster. A lot of it is because of all the cautions. Again, we've had 9 cautions in today's race if you count the 2 stage breaks, which NASCAR counts them, so I guess we have to count them. So 9 cautions. And we still have 60 laps to go, so 9 cautions and 92 laps at Bristol. Definitely going to be at Sonoma, Road America, Circuit of the Americas, and Fall Talladega. Nice. Yeah, maybe, well, I guess I'm not going to any of those races. I'm going to Springdega. Like the Blaney shirt. Yeah, every Cup Series race day, I'm always wearing Blaney gear, either this hat or my other hat. And then I have 6 different Ryan Blaney shirts that I basically just alternate. So I've wore each and every one of them so far this year for the Cup races. I had Blaney gear on Saturday for the heat races too, but fortunately got rained out. They're back under caution, no longer under red flag, and this final stage is about to get underway. Hopefully we get a good finish to the race at least and see some green flag racing like we saw at the end of stage 2, and actually get to see who's got the momentum to get to the end and win the first ever Bristol truck race. Yeah, I did watch the one lap they had of the dirt Bristol truck heat race. Wow. So one of the, one of the engineers on the 34 team, I guess had a heart attack in the infield this weekend and was able to get to the infield care center. There's my man, Ryan Blaney, sitting there next to Todd Gordon talking dirt, talking NASCAR, talking whatever they're talking about with this truck race, probably talking about how many cautions they've had so far. Not really able to gain much information on the truck race when they're running a lot of caution laps. I guarantee they've ran more caution laps than green flag laps. Well, it's probably closer to what I think it is. 92 laps, but we've had 9 cautions. I mean, if they even run 5 laps of caution, they've ran half caution laps so far. So I guess it's possible. It's possible they've ran more caution laps. Big Things 420. Welcome to the stream. I need Briscoe over Friesen. Yeah, Chase Briscoe is charging through the field. I think if there's anybody that can contend for the win with Martin Truex Jr. in this final stage, it's going to be Chase Briscoe. Briscoe is charged from the back towards the front. He's been as high as 4th, so it looks like he's going to restart in 6th. Kyle Larson is back in the top 20 to 18th, but still has just not been a factor at all in this truck race today. Still got one more stage, and again, a lot of it has been all these cautions. If we get a longer green flag run, maybe that could help. Again, we have not had a caution, or I should say we have not had a green flag run long enough to get to lap traffic. That goes to show how many cautions we've had. I know I've said we've had 9, but they have not even had to deal with lap traffic yet today. And it's Bristol. It's a half-mile track. They haven't had to deal with lap traffic because of how many cautions and how long of green flag runs they've had. I don't think they've had a long green flag run longer than 8 laps today. Logano said 15 to 18, and I think he was just making up numbers. Because I really don't think we've had a green flag run longer than that. Seems like we get a couple laps in, we get a caution. Green flag is back in the air. Front row is Grant Enfinger and Chase Purdy. 3 wide for the lead off turn 2. Purdy in the middle. Rhodes on the outside pushing Purdy off turn 2 now, being very desperate. Briscoe gets tagged from the 16 of Austin Hill, trying to cut in front of those trucks that are 3 wide behind him. Gillen with the run off the top. Huge run by Todd Gillen down to the outside of Chase Briscoe for 5th. Enfinger continues to lead as he's trying to hold his lane. Martin Truex Jr. running a little bit higher, trying to get a run. Ben Rhodes back up to 3rd, getting around Purdy off turn 2. Truex looks to the left rear corner panel of Enfinger for the race lead. With just over 55 laps to go here at Bristol, Enfinger still out in front. Ben Rhodes, one of the Thor Motorsport teammates of Enfinger, right behind Martin Truex Jr. Maybe looking to follow Truex on in line to get to 2nd, assuming Truex can get to the lead. Enfinger trying to get the run off the high side, but it's Martin Truex Jr. who clears him for the race lead off turn 4. Martin Truex Jr. has dominated this race about as much as he dominated the Xfinity race at Atlanta last week. But can he get to victory lane today? Ben Rhodes, very close to making contact with his teammate Enfinger for 2nd. They're still side by side. Todd Gillen is up to 4th place, trying to run down both the Thor Motorsport trucks. Still 3 wide further back in the pack with Larson, Bubba Wallace, and Stuart Friesen right around 15th. In fact, it is a battle for 15th. Larson's been on the top all day long, and the top lane has just not been there on the short runs. And that's probably a huge factor of why Larson hasn't gone anywhere. Still busy on trying to pass Friesen. He hasn't quite cleared him yet. It looked like he was going to a couple laps ago. And speaking of not being cleared, the battle for 2nd continues. Ben Rhodes and Grant Enfinger are still side by side. They've been side by side for 2nd here for a good 3 to 4 laps. It has allowed Martin Truex Jr. to pull away a bit further. He's now out to about a 1.4 second lead. Rhodes finally able to clear the 98 truck of Grant Enfinger as they go into turn 3. Rhodes has looked fast as well today, but not as fast as Martin Truex Jr. Slow truck in the 56 on the outside of the racetrack. That might bring out a caution as the leaders race on by. They're going to keep it green. Oh, Truex trying to miss him as they're 3 wide coming up to the 56, and they're able to miss. And around goes the 56 now. Caution's out, hard impact with the 30. Larson's around. Heavy damage to Kyle Larson, and one of the favorites are knocked out. Why did they not throw a caution for the 56 running half the speed as the rest of the field on the outside? They kept it green. They were 3 and 4 wide trying to miss him, and there was no room mid-pack for Larson as he gets slammed by the 30. I believe that was Dawson Cram. That was a very hard impact. Larson was moving around in the race truck. The 45 of Brett Moffitt involved. Larson's race truck is crinkled right now. They did not throw the caution for the 56 running wide on the outside, right in front of the leaders, noticeably slower. Larson ran right into the back of him, nowhere to go in the middle of the corner. And when Larson went around, he slid down the track in front of the 30 of, I believe that's Dawson Cram again. I'm not completely sure on that. And Cram just crammed it right into Kyle Larson. He had nowhere to go. Again, Larson was already on the outside. He was trying to get the outside lane to work all day long. And the 56 was running so slow. Danny Bone is in the 30 truck. My bad on that one. They're just noticing. They're just making me aware of that. So Mike Marlar he was in the 56 truck. He'll be in the Cup race later today. So he was the one that was really slow. And again, Moffitt was involved as well. Not as much damage on Moffitt's truck, but the 30 and the 44 of Larson are definitely going to be knocked out of this race. They never had this many cautions in a caution lap since Talladega Nights. Larson is... Man, he took a hard lick. Man. Really hard lick to the right side of the race car that was already exposed after running into the back of Marlar. Why didn't they throw the caution for Marlar being so slow? He couldn't get into the pits because he was on the outside. And he was trying to stay on the outside to stay out of the way. The outside has not been a preferred groove today, so he was probably expecting everybody to miss to the bottom, but there were trucks like Crafton and Larson who were trying to get the outside to work all day, Larson especially, and when Larson got to him, he had nowhere to go, and that was about halfway through the pack, and now we're under another red flag due to more oil on the racetrack that spilled out of Larson's race truck after the heavy contact with the back of Marlar and then getting slammed by the 30 as well. Larson's truck's on the wrecker, and we'll have to wait to see him in the Cup race later today. Obviously has to be frustrated with the way this truck race went for him. 10th caution of the race now with 50 laps to go. Anthony Hanley, welcome to the stream. Took a hard hit Saturday. Hopefully you're all right, man. What do you think, Bill? To beat Larson in the next race. I have Larson winning the race. That's my race prediction. I have not predicted a race correct this year. I predicted 9 right last year. I think I had 3 in like the first 6 or 7 races. And I have not predicted 1 right so far this season with the random, way of how this is going. I've been close a couple times, but I haven't gotten the winner right. And I don't think it's a sold bet on Larson or Bell winning the race. I really don't think so. Again, Larson was struggling in this truck race. I know it's the truck series and a lot better equipment in the Cup series, but he was not the top 15 until right before that accident. And there were still 50 laps to go, but you got to figure no more pit stops. So setup he had in it right there was it. That was all he had. Unfortunate to see his day come to an end, though. That was a hard crash. That should have been avoided. NASCAR, I can't believe I'm saying this, but they should have thrown the caution. And the only reason I say that is because I wanted to see green flag racing. And I'm sure that's why NASCAR kept it green, too. I am completely aware that NASCAR probably kept it green knowing this race has had a lot of caution so far. Let's keep this green. But again, it's not for entertainment. It's for safety. For safety. That's why there are cautions. And they did not throw the caution when they should have there for safety. The 56 was noticeably slower if you guys are watching the race. He was running half the speed that the field was, the leaders, when the leaders came around him. And they were 3 wide. They had nowhere to go. "56 drives like me during rush hour." Just let the traffic, let him go. Just let him go. Just like when the rush hour traffic's going like 80 miles an hour in a 45 and everybody else is going the speed limit, you're like just staying in the right lane, let everybody go. I want no part of that. I don't want to be in the accident that's about to unfold, and then you just get piled from behind by somebody trying to split traffic. I just bet heads up versus matches. Yeah, so I am a betting man myself. For NASCAR, I usually just bet for the driver I think is going to win the race, no matter what their odds are. So I did put money on Larson. Unfortunately, because I have not won this year, I have not won anything. But yeah, I put money on whoever that is. I'm thinking about putting money on J.J. Yaley too, just for the hell of it, because his odds are. He's not going to win the race, though. I mean, that's the only reason that I'm not doing it is because there's no way he's going to win the race. But I do predict him to finish in the top 10. Top 15. Okay, I predicted him to finish in the top 15. I said I would not be surprised if he got a top 10. Very good dirt racer. He's experienced with cup cars at least by racing them for a while, even if it's not as competitive. They are back under caution. Red flag is now lifted. A lot of speedy dry on the racetrack, just like you saw after the accident involving Todd. Sorry, I almost said Todd Gillen. Involving John Hunter Nemechek earlier. So mid-pack, it's going to be hard to see going through that speedy dry like it was on that earlier restart in stage 2. Still 34 people watching. We have had about 30 people watching this whole race to this point. Just imagine if we haven't had a caution, the race would have probably been over by now. Well, you'd have to assume there's going to be at least a couple with it being the Truck Series and dirt at Bristol. So even if there would have been 5 cautions instead of 10 right now, there would probably only be like 20 laps to go, 15 laps to go. We still got 50 laps left. About 50, a little less. 49 to be exact, but they're still under caution. Martin Truex Jr. was your pick for Phoenix. Nice. So you got one right so far. Hey, that's more than me. I like to call myself a amateur expert, if that's ever a thing. I'm not an expert because I'm not as old as these other experts because they've watched the sport even longer, but I know my knowledge on it. And again, I predicted 9 races right. That's impressive. I mean, that's a quarter of the races on the Cup Series schedule I predicted right last year. And so to go 0 for 6 to start this season. This dirt track is great. It's a little bit of a wreck fest. It's the actual track itself, I think they're taking good care of it. The fact that it's holding up with all the laps that, NASCAR will be running on it, the laps that they had in the races leading up to it. Hopefully it holds up for the World of Outlaw events coming up in a couple weeks after, or the week after Easter too, because I think the Outlaws are going to be in town for Bristol. And then I think after that, that's it for Dirt Bristol, and they'll be taking the dirt off and getting everything prepped and ready to go for the September NASCAR races. And whatever other races they have there in the summertime. Maybe the K&N will race there at some point. Or Arca Menard Series now. So another reason why Larson did not see the 56 truck that I'm just seeing right now, Sheldon Creed was right in front of Kyle Larson, so Creed saw the 56 truck before Larson. Larson probably had no clue the 56 was there until Creed moved out of the way, and Creed barely missed Marlar in the 56. When he moved, Larson was already on the back bumper of Creed. He didn't follow Creed. He was going to hold his line on the outside. Larson had no time to get on the brakes right there, and again, that's another reason why they should have thrown the caution, because Marlar was running so much slower than the rest of the field. He was probably going half the speed they were. Dangerously slow. He was probably going 50 miles an hour when everybody else was going 100 going into turn 3 where that wreck happened. I guarantee he was going 50, 60 miles an hour, and everybody else was going about 100. I mean, that's dangerous, no matter how fast you're going. At 50 mile per hour different impact, it's big. John Garrett, welcome to the stream. What type of prep? My bad. Gaming Hot Plays, welcome to the stream as well. John Garrett, what type of prep work they do the track before the Cup race starts? Well, they're going to water it. They're definitely going to water the track. They haven't watered it in between the stages necessarily, but they will water it in between the 2 races. Try to get that moisture back down again, because it is starting to get dustier the more laps that they run, especially with this amount of laps, this many trucks on the racetrack. So they will water it. And what they do to try and help pack it down on top of watering it, what they'll do, they'll water it first. They'll let it sit for a little bit, slowly start to dry up. And then they've had dirt late models, but usually at local dirt tracks, they'll have like dirt trucks or push trucks that will run the track backwards, packing it down. If you run it forward, it's just going to cause more ripples in the dirt. By running it backwards, knowing that the actual race cars or the race trucks are going to be running it the other way, it helps pack it down a little more. It keeps there from being chunks and divots taken out of the actual racing surface, especially in the racing grooves grooves in the preferred lanes. So that's pretty much all they'll do. Some places also, you might see if you go to like horse racing, they'll have I want to say like a tractor looking thing. It's not like an actual tractor. Maybe in some cases it is a tractor, and they'll have like steel grates trying to like run each lane backwards as well, trying to smooth the dirt out and level it out, so that way it's not a difference between like maybe it gets ran in. The high lane is a little flatter than the inside lane, so they try to even out the dirt a little more. But water it for the moisture, and then they're trying to level it with the Packard trucks and everything else running in a reverse motion, and then maybe those steel grate tractors will be there. I don't know. I'm not actually at the track this week, obviously, to see what's going on with that, but that's typically what they would do on a normal dirt racetrack. Green flag back in the air, 43 laps to go. Martin Truex Jr. restarts from the lead on the outside lane, and again, Ben Rhodes on the bottom. Todd Gilliland, who's charging forward, restarts in third. Rafael Lessard inside the top 5 out of nowhere as well in the 24 truck. Truex easily clears Ben Rhodes as they go through the speedy dry in turns 3 and 4. I'm sure it's going to be hard to see through there. Hopefully they make it. And they do. Ben Rhodes is doing everything he can to keep up with Martin Truex Jr., but Truex has been so good here today. Remember, Truex was one of the drivers that spun out during the Cup Series practice on Friday. But he's having a great run in the Truck Series here today. Kligerman's working inside the top 10 even after having a little damage from that earlier accident with Derek Kraus and John Hunter Nemechek. Kligerman's up to 6th, passing Chase Briscoe. 3 wide off turn 4. Chase Purdy, Kevin Harvick, and Sheldon Creed battling for 10th. They were all sandwiched together. Purdy starting to move backwards now as Austin Wayne Self is going to get around him. Hailie Deegan looking to make the pass now for 12th. Kevin Harvick working inside the top 10. He has not been in the top 10 all day long, but that extra track time in practice this week might be paying off for Harvick, and that veteran experience as well has to be paying in as he's looking to pass Sheldon Creed for 10th. He's all clear off turn 2. Still 38 laps left, about a 1.1 second lead for Truex, but major battling going on from pretty much 5th on back as they are extremely packed together. Deegan was just battling for 12th there for a little bit with Chase Purdy, and Purdy is out also still in front of her, so maybe Purdy's slowing her up on the inside lane, but they have fallen back to 16th and 17th all of a sudden. Coming and going through the traffic. Matt Crafton, after being in the top 3 earlier, still trying to get the outside to work, and he's running back in 19th, 20th. Remember, he's a former winner at Eldora in the Truck Series. And was running good in Stage 1. Got some stage points there, but he has not been anywhere close to the top 10 since. 0-2 of Daniel Suarez makes a little contact with the left rear of Hailie Deegan. They're 3 wide off the exit of the corner. Deegan runs Suarez back down the racetrack. That checks up Johnny Sutter and Mike Snyder behind. Sutter got way sideways. Crafton makes a move on the outside of Deegan there for position as well. Back inside the top 5 now. There's a battle for second between Todd Gilliland and Ben Rhodes. Gilliland, he moves up to the outside lane trying to get a run off the exit of the corner. Same as you would see at normal Bristol or even really any asphalt racetrack or concrete racetrack with progressive banking. Same goes for dirt racing. You can get the run off the banking, off the cushion on the outside of the racetrack and try to use that extra straightaway speed. You're giving up in the corners because it's the longest way around the track, but you have the straightaway speed to gas it. Try to hopefully get around the competitor you are racing against. In that aspect, both dirt and asphalt racing is the same. Still a good battle for second. Fox is going side by side right now, and this is probably the longest green flag run I think we've had this entire race. We went green with 44 to go, and we have 37 to go, and they're still running green. So, actually, just less than 37 to go. I think we got about 34, 33 laps left. Caution, well, I jinxed it. What is that? The commentator jinx? Major impact for the 18 truck once again of Chandler Smith. He was involved in an earlier accident, and it looks like his day has come to an end. Johnny Sauter's got heavy damage as well. Did not see it on the Fox side-by-side. They'll have to show a replay of it. But heavy damage to both the race trucks and both on the front of the race trucks. If I had to guess, it was probably an incident like we saw with John Hunter Nemechek earlier, where one of the two trucks spun and the other probably got hit head-on in the nose. Both those drivers were right around 20th. Indeed. I love the smell of fresh dirt in Bristol. Yeah, Trevor, hopefully you got some like eye protection eyewear maybe, like goggles. I always wore glasses when I went dirt racing. Actually, so when I went to Eldora in 2019, that had been a couple years from the last time I was at a dirt race, and I completely forgot to bring glasses. So I was like looking without like any sort of glasses into the dust, and that was a dusty night too. I was pretty dry all week leading up to it in the area, and so they had a dry racetrack even at nighttime. It was a hotter day too, so that obviously plays into it with the air temperature. But yeah, I didn't have like any goggles. I always wore goggles when I went because I have allergies too. So like I get the dust in my eyes and it just sucks. My nose starts to get all sniffly and yeah, it was pretty bad. But outside of that though, I still had fun. And outside of the major cautions like we're seeing today, still had fun. I have goggles. Yes. Smart move. Smart move. Yeah, if I was going to end up going to Dirt Bristol, I was not going to make that same mistake I made when I went to Eldora a couple of years ago, for sure. Johnny Sauter and Chandler Smith were the only two drivers involved in that accident and major head-on damage. I'm surprised Sauter was still able to get that truck to run. They're showing the replay right now. It looks like Smith just got loose. So Chandler Smith got loose, and as he was trying to correct it, came down the racetrack right in front of Johnny Sauter when they were battling for position. They did make hard contact there, but then they ended up both sweeping down to the inside wall on the back straightaway, and when they hit the inside wall, that is where they got the majority of their damage to the front bumper. Sauter's still on the racetrack, but it looks like the 18 of Chandler Smith is parked now, and he'll be done for the rest of the day on the back of the record truck. Take them off during the yellow. Yeah, I would do that too. The dust starts to settle a little bit more under caution. The only thing hurting Martin Truex Jr. today is these cautions coming out, because we've seen him get passed on restarts a couple times. If this just keeps happening to the end of the race, which you'd have to imagine it would, it was probably our longest green flag run. We actually went 13 laps before in between cautions. But now that we are even later in this race, you'd have to assume we know the trend. Cautions breed cautions in the sport of NASCAR. What lane will Martin Truex Jr. pick? He's picked the outside a couple of times. He's picked the inside a few times as well. Inside seems to be the preferred lane on the restarts. But then after about 2 to 3 laps, you kind of want to be on the outside battling for that track position up at the front. It seems like you can get a little bit better drive off for sure than the trucks on the inside if you have the handling, that is. The Truex by far has the handling and the speed here today. Quick rundown of the top 10 here, middle of stage 3. Martin Truex Jr. leads. Ben Rhodes will line up second on the restart. Todd Gilliland third. Rafael Lessard will be in row 2. In row number 3, Grant Enfinger, Parker Kligerman. Chase Briscoe, Austin Hill in row 4. Zane Smith, Kevin Harvick will be in row 5. You barely hear me. Well, you're at the racetrack, so that's no surprise. Hey, I greatly appreciate you being at the racetrack and still popping in here from time to time. Surprised you're getting that good of connection, too, because I never get great connection when I'm at the racetrack. I mean, I'm not on my phone at all during the race, though, either, but like for trying to adjust my fantasy team, I know, like by the end of stage 2, it's hard to get connection sometimes, so I have to like go into the race with it already open and just hope that it loads quick enough for me to swap my lineup out at the last minute. So they're showing the playoff grid right now. Again, John Hunter Nemechek and Ben Rhodes, the only drivers locked into the playoffs with wins. The other wins were from Cup Series regulars like Kyle Busch and etc. Martin Truex Jr. could be another one of those Cup regulars to get a win in the Truck Series race today. Truex elects the outside for the restart. Down on the inside will be Ben Rhodes. We'll have 25 laps to go when we go green. Yeah, Lessard, Kligerman definitely having good runs. Todd Gilliland has had good runs in that team before. Lessard's actually had a pretty good start to the season. Remember, he almost won Daytona at the beginning of the year. He was leading laps at one point in the Vegas race, I believe it was. So Pace Truck is pulling off. 25 laps to go in the Camping World Truck Series race at Dirt Bristol. Martin Truex Jr. leads the field to the green. Rhodes has been competitive on the restarts, and they already dive 3 wide as Chase Briscoe just sends the 98 truck of Enfinger up the track into the side of Kligerman, who's the big loser on the restart there. He's still stuck at the outside 3 wide, just inside the top 5. Truex easily clears for the race lead on Ben Rhodes further back, side by side for third place between Lessard and Gilliland. But look at Kligerman up the middle between Briscoe and Enfinger to get right back up to 5th place again. What an aggressive move. Kligerman keeping this great run alive. He is a former Truck Series winner. He's won a couple super speedways in the Truck Series. 23 laps to go at the line for Truex. He's got about 3 to 4 truck lengths on Ben Rhodes. Kligerman continues to battle Enfinger for position as Enfinger gets back around him for 5th on the outside. Briscoe going to try the outside lane as well as he gets there on Kligerman, but can't hold the outside lane. Kligerman pulls up and actually clears him off the exit of turn 4 that time. You'd have to imagine the way this race has gone, they are not going to run green to the end. But if they do, can Truex continue to pull away and get the victory? And will we see lap traffic if we actually get a long enough green flag run to the end of this race? If we do stay green to the end, we will catch lap traffic. Briscoe going to now clear Kligerman off turn 2 down the back straightaway up to 6th place. Kligerman starting to go backwards a little bit off the restart now. Enfinger looks to the inside of the 24 of Lessard for 4th place off turn 4. 20 laps to go. Dirt Bristol truck race. Truex out to a 1.3 second lead on Ben Rhodes. Gilliland trying to run him back down. They were battling for second before the last caution came out. Gilliland was battling there with Lessard, Enfinger, Kligerman, and Briscoe on that restart that kind of held them back a little bit. But now Gilliland is right to the back bumper of Ben Rhodes once again for second. And we have another caution. The 49 truck has gone around. Andrew Gordon has spun and he has hit the tire barrier on the inside of the racetrack. The tire barrier at the front of the pit wall, and it has picked the rear end of his truck up off the ground. He backed it right into the barrier. And now they're probably going to have to clean that mess up. So we might see another red flag. Otherwise, they're going to waste a lot of laps under caution. Another driver just catching it a little too loose, spinning out on his own, but luckily was not able to save it with the front of the pit wall right there. And backs it right into the tire barrier. So they show in slow motion. And could probably keep it going, but the rear tires are up off the ground, so this is probably going to hold him back a lap or two by the time they get him off the tire barrier. And they will, again, have to clean up the couple barrels that fell over. All the sand poured out. Well, maybe they don't. Well, they're going to have to pick it up to at least protect the inside wall, I guess, too. So they can't just leave it there. They maybe don't have to clean up the sand necessarily, though, because it's way on the inside of the racetrack, and we're racing on dirt, not asphalt. But if they are going to clean it all up, they should throw the red flag here. Otherwise, we're going to have about 10 laps under caution, if not more. And we are getting down to crunch time here at Dirt Bristol. Again, Martin Truex Jr. in the lead. We'll take a quick rundown of the top 10 now that the caution's out once more. 17 laps to go as they ride around under caution still. Martin Truex Jr. leads, Ben Rhodes second, Todd Gilliland third, Rafael Assard fourth, and Grant Enfinger rounds out the top five. Chase Briscoe sixth, followed by Austin Hill seventh. Parker Kligerman fell back to eighth on the restart. Kevin Harvick ninth, and Zane Smith will round out the top 10. Red flag is now out with 17 to go. Our third red flag for incident today. We've had a lot of big spills and cleanups in some of these accidents. This one, probably the smallest of the spills. They're just literally shoveling the sand back into the barrels on the front stretch. But they have to get that cleaned up and get the barrels back in there so they can protect from the entrance of that pit wall, so it's not just a head-on concrete wall right there. I think we'll get one more caution. Yeah, by the time they go green, I think it'll still be the longest green flag run of the race if they make it to the end without another yellow. Expected this truck race to be sloppy. I expected a few less cautions. I expected about that 9 to 12 range like we've been getting at Eldora the last few years, but we've had more than that already, and we still got 17 laps to go. Hopefully you guys are enjoying, as it looks like you guys have up to this point. Martin Truex Jr. has led 88 laps today just to show the dominance. He's won the first two stages of the race as well. Only 11 lead changes due to the lack of green flag racing. That's some of it. Definitely a large part of it because we haven't had to see what lap traffic will do yet. And hopefully in the Cup race we get some long green flag runs. I think we will get at least a couple. I get this is a new dirt track, but again, the Truck Series have raced on dirt. You know, like I expected a lot of cautions, but not this many. 12 cautions today. 52 laps have been ran under caution out of the 133 laps we have ran so far. That is over a third of the race ran under caution up to this point. It's disappointing. We now had just as many cautions as what we had in the last Eldora race, so we're only one caution away from breaking the dirt race record for the Truck Series for most cautions, at least. This race has been a disgrace. No more dirt races for trucks, please. This is the driver's fault. I don't think it's as much a NASCAR fault as what it is the driver's fault for the Truck Series. If the Cup race is like this, on the other hand, that might be a little different. But for the truck race sake, they've been racing the trucks at Eldora before. And they've had good races. They've had a lot more green flag runs during some of those races. But the last 4 years, they've had at least 9 cautions and a lot of caution laps. 12 in the last, and now we've had 12 in this dirt race as well at Bristol. That's definitely the huge downfall with it, for sure. So I definitely agree with you to a certain extent there, Country RDNK. Remember, the Cup Series race is scheduled for 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're about 2 hours away from the drop of the green flag for that one. Yeah, Joey Logano kind of best stated it in the Fox Crew that Ben Rhodes is known for being an overly aggressive driver. How much will he use Truex up here in these late race restarts to try and get to the lead? Still think there's a little too many laps left that he's going to be too aggressive right now. I mean, he's going to have to completely knock Truex out of the way if that's going to work for him. But Rhodes has looked like he's had the second fastest race truck in the field today behind Truex, but Truex is just that extra step ahead of everybody else Again, looking for that redemption from a lower series race last week at Atlanta when he ran the Xfinity race, dominated, won the first 2 stages, but unfortunately was not able to get the finish he deserved due to a pit road speeding penalty late in that one. So he's definitely going to try not to throw this race away, I'd have to imagine. Scott Andrew, welcome to the stream. Why did they not modify the trucks and cars for dirt such as no windshields? Yeah, I have no clue on that. I think a large part of it is because they've had races at Eldora in the truck series before with windshields, and they haven't had the problems that they've had with dust this week before then. So I'm sure that was a large part of it. If they would have had issues with the mud and the dirt as much as they've had at Dirt Bristol this week compared to what they have had at Eldora, if it would have been like that at Eldora, I'm sure they would have had the steel-graded windshields versus the actual glass windshield or plexiglass, whatever they use for the windshields in NASCAR right now. I don't know the exact material, but the ones that we're used to seeing. And I think that's a large reason why. So maybe going forward they won't have that if they end up deciding to run Dirt Bristol again next year. I think it's really going to depend on the Cup Series if they're going to have Dirt Bristol again next year. I don't think the truck race is going to indicate exactly what NASCAR's plans are. If the Cup race is going to be really good and really solid, then I mean, they might as well bring it back next year for sure. Red TV, welcome to the stream. What time is the truck race start? It already started at noon Eastern Standard Time. It's running a little long here due to the 12 cautions we've had today. Not only 12 cautions, but 3 red flags for incident, including this most recent one. Loving these trucks and dirt. Can't wait to see what happens with the Cup cars. Yeah, and see, I mean, some people are going to like it, some people aren't. Me personally, I don't think it's been that great of a race. But, again, I think we're setting up for a good finish still. Knowing that we keep having these late race restarts, that's going to give more and more opportunities for Rhodes and these other drivers to pounce on Truex on the restarts. And again, we've seen Ben Rhodes be able to take the lead on a couple of these restarts today. It's been a while since he has. Really, since Truex started getting the outside lane down on the restart, it's been a little harder for Rhodes. Truex was on the bottom there for the longest time. We'll see if he goes back to the top again. But there has been a couple times Rhodes been able to get around him and lead for about 4 or 5 laps. Truex gets around him, and then we get a caution. Lights are out on the pace truck, ladies and gentlemen. We have 12 laps to go when the green flag drops. Row number 1 will be Martin Truex Jr., Ben Rhodes. Truex restarting on the outside lane this time. Row 2 is going to be Gillen and Lassard. Enfinger, Briscoe, row 3. Austin Hill, Parker Kligerman, row 4. And back in row 5, Kevin Harvick and Zane Smith. Race is on Fox Sports 1 right now for the Truck Series. Main race for the Cup will be on Fox later today. Green flag back in the air for Martin Truex Jr. Ben Rhodes did not take off on the restart, and Rafael Lassard jumps to second place on the outside with a great run, and Rhodes uses him up down the back straightaway. Right before Lassard was able to clear, Rhodes gets right into his left rear in the middle of the back straightaway, rubs right on by him, uses him up again. He's still rubbing and leaning on him. All the way around this racetrack is a battle for second. This is allowing Truex to have an even bigger jump on the restart, out in the lead with 10 laps to go this time by. Rhodes and Lassard still side by side. Chase Briscoe's up to 4th place, waiting in the wings behind him. Rhodes finally clear of the 24 of Lassard for second, but he's over a second back from Truex already with 10 to go. Can he run him down? Still 2 and 3 wide, further back in traffic. And will we get another caution? Very well possible. Sheldon Creed to the inside of Kevin Harvick. Oh boy! Creed hit one of the turtles on the inside of the track. He ran solo trying to get around Harvick. Creed's been back in traffic since the beginning of the race where he led a lot of laps in stage 1. Unfortunately, he's not been able to work his way back forward. 1.2 second lead out for Martin Truex Jr. with 8 laps to go. And he's just hoping the rest of the field can keep it straight for 8 more laps. Gillen sends it to the inside of Briscoe. A little contact off turn 4 as they now battle for 4th place. And Briscoe puts the bumper back to the 38 truck again, but that only pushes the 38 further out ahead as Gillen's able to drive off turn 2 and pull away from Briscoe. 1.5 second lead now stretched out for Martin Truex Jr. 6 laps to go. Truex has dominated this race today. Assuming he leads the rest of these laps, he will go well on to lead more than 100 of the 150 laps today. One Bull Stages has absolutely put on a clinic as far as himself, and he has dominated and more than deserved this win. And Ben Rhodes has pulled away from Rafael Lessard in 3rd since passing him. He is about 1.5 seconds ahead of Lessard, maybe a little more than that. Lessard's trying to hold off Todd Gillen as they battle for 3rd now with 4 laps to go at the line. Truex is going to keep this trend going if we stay green. He'll be the 8th different winner in the 8 truck races we've ever had on dirt in NASCAR. Purdy and Deegan have been going at it for position here for quite some time. I feel like Purdy's been holding up Deegan a lot too. 2 laps to go for Martin Truex Jr. Rhodes has closed that gap a little bit more. Truex might be backing it down. With 2 to go, it's down to about a 1.2 second lead. It was 1.6 a couple laps ago. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go for Martin Truex Jr. The lead's down to 1.1 now, but still too far back. As long as Truex could just make it through these final 2 corners. A dominating race for Martin Truex Jr. Off of turn 4, checkered flag in the air. Truex is going to win the first ever truck race at Dirt Bristol. Ben Rhodes brings it home 2nd. Rafael Lessard will come home 3rd. Todd Gillen 4th. Chase Briscoe rounds out the top 5. Edfinger 6th. Zane Smith 7th. Parker Kligerman with a great run 8th. Austin Hill 9th. And Austin Wayne Self will round out the top 10. Bubba Wallace just misses out on the top 10 in 11th. Friesen, who was my pick to win today's race, finishes 12th. He did not have as good of a run as what I thought. Tanner Gray spun earlier. He finished 13th. Harvick fell back to 15th on the last restart. Truex going to try to do the dirt burnout. Maybe not going to work as well on asphalt. He's doing what he can. Yeah, now he just reverts to the parade lap. After not being able to put the smoke show on in the victory burnout, obviously, because they're on dirt. But Martin Truex Jr. will get a win at Dirt Bristol this weekend. And he comes in the Truck Series race, and he'll try to go for the sweep in the Cup race later today. Three wins in a row for Kyle Busch Motorsports, as I just stated on Fox, by 3 different winners. John Hunter Nemechek, then Kyle Busch, and now Martin Truex Jr. As the crowd salutes Martin Truex Jr. Can I do career mode races between these races? No, I might have enough time, but I really need to take a break here so I can save my voice because we'll be doing career mode tonight on NASCAR Heat 5. I will be back at 4 o'clock for the Cup race later today. Martin Truex Jr., congratulations to him for winning the first ever Dirt Bristol race in the Truck Series. They are interviewing him currently right now.
doing it your whole life.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, really. I mean, I guess they had to put put dirt on Bristol to get me back to victory lane here. So it's been a long time. That was a blast. I'm still really surprised. I wanted to run this race so I could get more experience for the Cup car, and man, we got out there and practiced, and just it felt really good, and I was having a lot of fun, and so I just kept trying to work with the guys and tell them what I needed, and just thanks to auto owners and Noble Aerospace and Toyota TRD, everybody KBM for letting me drive this thing and putting this deal together. And that was a blast. I kept thinking, man, what's going to happen next? Am I going to get a flat tire or something stupid? I mean, this 51 is pretty much used to being a victory lane, so a lot of pressure there, but glad we could get it done.
You mentioned the Cup car coming up a little bit later this afternoon, 4 o'clock on Fox, the Cup race. What did you learn now that you can take away to that race in a little bit?
I learned a lot. I mean, it was really amazing just how much the track changed. But I will have to say this thing stayed really, really good the whole time. So I think if you've got a good car, you can be good all day long. It just depends on what they do to the track. It's getting hotter. It's going to keep drying out, getting slicker. So we'll see what they do to prep it. But no matter what they do, that was a blast, and I'm looking forward to this afternoon.
Awesome. Junior.
Brings it home second, and then on that final restart, I heard you miss a shift.
All right, so that was the interview with Martin Truex Jr. After his win today at Dirt Bristol. Again, we will be commentating the Dirt Bristol Cup race at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here today, so definitely tune in for that one. We had an amazing stream here today, regardless of the amount of cautions we had in the race, and at least they, ran clean to the finish. I will give the field that. And Martin Truex Jr. definitely dominated. He deserved to go to victory lane today. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I will see you guys at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Cup race, doing the same realistic commentary here. And that race is on Fox, the main Fox channel, if you did want to watch the race later today. But if you want to come here, or maybe mute your television, listen to me commentate, we'll do the same thing as we just did here for the truck race. We set a new stream record with 63 people watching over the course of a stream here today. Make sure, again, you hit that like button. We're up to 30 likes as well. This was a lot of fun, to say the least, and I hope that we have just as much fun, hopefully even more, with a better race in the Cup Series today, which I do have to imagine. My prediction is that the Cup race will be a better race here today. Again, thanks, everybody. I will see you guys in a little bit. I'm going to take a little break here and make sure I don't lose my voice. Thanks, everybody. And I will see you guys again at 4.